The Dallas Cowboys have just shocked the entire football world by pulling off what is being called the most high-voltage trade of the NFL offseason. A move so bold and electrifying that it instantly puts them back into the Super Bowl conversation and sends waves through not only the NFC East but the entire league. George Pickens, the insanely talented, wildly explosive wide receiver from the Pittsburgh Steelers, is officially a Dallas Cowboy, and the implications of this trade are vast, immediate, and deeply layered in meaning. This isn't just about acquiring a player, it's about making a declaration of intent, a sharp, defiant roar from Jerry Jones and the Dallas front office saying that enough is enough, that the years of underachieving are over, and that the time to dominate is now. George Pickens, who came into the league as a second-round pick out of Georgia, has never lacked confidence or ability. He's the type of wideout who plays with an edge, who believes he's the best player on the field, and who plays every down with the hunger of someone trying to silence doubters and leave defenders embarrassed on national television. His time in Pittsburgh was filled with jaw-dropping catches, sideline toe taps that defied physics, and deep ball fireworks that made him an instant fan favorite and YouTube highlight regular. But it was also marred by inconsistency in targets, quarterback instability, and reports fair or not of friction with coaches and teammates, creating an environment where his immense talent never fully blossomed into WR1 dominance. Dallas, on the other hand, has been looking for that exact kind of playmaker to complement CeeDee Lamb, who has emerged as a legitimate top 5 wide receiver in the NFL, capable of slicing through defenses with elite footwork, deceptive speed, and after-the-catch brilliance. But what Lamb has lacked, and what the Cowboys' offense has been screaming for, is someone to line up opposite him and stretch the field vertically, someone who can force safeties to back off, someone who demands attention on every single snap, and someone who can turn a routine go route into a game-changing touchdown. Pickens is exactly that, and then some, because not only does he bring deep threat capability, he brings attitude, he brings swagger, and he brings a chip on his shoulder the size of Texas, and now, wearing that star on his helmet, he'll have the platform to explode under the brightest lights football has to offer. This trade, while it may seem sudden to fans, is likely the result of months of internal conversations in both Dallas and Pittsburgh, where both organizations had to weigh their short-term goals against long-term visions. And for Dallas, a team that has seen championship windows open and close with frustrating rapidity, the opportunity to bring in a player of Pickens' caliber, still on a rookie deal and entering his prime, was simply too good to pass up. It's a calculated gamble, yes, because the Cowboys are giving up future draft capital and taking on a player with some perceived baggage, but it's also the kind of swing-for-the-fences move that championship teams make when they believe they are 1 or 2 pieces away from glory. With Pickens on board, the Cowboys now boast a receiving core that can rival any in the league, and Dak Prescott, long criticized for his inability to take the next step in big moments, suddenly finds himself surrounded by weapons that demand production. This move could be a career-defining moment for Dak as well, because with Lamb, Pickens, Ferguson at tight end, a retooled offensive line, and a running game that will at least force defenses to stay honest, there are no more excuses, no more limitations, just an opportunity to silence critics once and for all by leading an offense that is built to scorch defenses and light up scoreboards from coast to coast. And let's not ignore the psychological impact this trade will have on the locker room. Moves like this energize teams. They send a message to the players that ownership and the front office believe in this core, that they are willing to invest real assets to support them, and that they are all in on winning now. For younger players, it signals that the bar is high and getting higher. For veterans, it shows that their efforts have not gone unnoticed. And for the coaching staff, it gives them a new tool in the arsenal, a new chess piece to scheme around, and a new level of flexibility in how they attack opposing defenses. George Pickens brings a specific type of chaos to the field, the good kind, the kind that defensive coordinators dread planning for, because he doesn't fit into a neat box. He's not just a burner, though he can burn you deep in a heartbeat. He's not just a contested catch guy, though he routinely mosses defenders with ridiculous hand strength and vertical ability. He's not just a sideline acrobat, though his footwork and body control near the boundary are elite. He is all of those things wrapped into a fearless, edgy, ultra-competitive football player who thrives on proving people wrong. And now that he's in a Cowboys uniform, expect him to take that chip on his shoulder and multiply it tenfold. The expectations in Dallas are always sky high, and Pickens knows that. He's stepping into a football culture that demands excellence, that scrutinizes every move, every tweet, every post-game soundbite. And he's doing it at a time when the team is desperate to make a deep playoff run and finally deliver on the promise they've been teasing for years. It's a pressure cooker, but Pickens seems like the kind of player who not only welcomes that pressure but feeds off it, and if he locks in mentally, commits to the team concept, and builds chemistry with Dak early, he could become the next in a long line of legendary Cowboys receivers whose names are still chanted in AT&T Stadium decades later. Of course, this trade also carries long-term implications beyond the 2025 season because Pickens is in the final year of his rookie contract, which means if he performs the way the Cowboys believe he can, he'll be in line for a massive payday, and that's a conversation Dallas will need to be prepared for, especially considering their looming extensions for players like CeeDee Lamb and Micah Parsons. But that's a good problem to have, because if Pickens plays well enough to warrant a big extension, it means the trade was a success and the offense reached new heights. It also gives Dallas leverage in future negotiations whether they retain him, tag him, or even flip him for additional value later. They're operating from a position of power. What's more, the competitive impact on the NFC East can't be overstated. The Eagles have loaded up with talent, the Commanders are rebuilding with excitement under a new regime, and the Giants, while struggling, are always capable of playing spoiler, so adding a player like Pickens to Dallas' arsenal could be the decisive difference in sweeping divisional games and locking in a top playoff seed. And don't forget, the defense already boasts Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, DeMarcus Lawrence, and a core that can suffocate opponents. The Pickens move is about balancing that dominance with a high-powered offense that can strike quickly and relentlessly. It's not just about winning games anymore, it's about winning big, sending a message to the league that Dallas is no longer content to be a good team, they want to be great, and they're willing to take bold, headline-grabbing swings to get there. Fans are already dreaming of Dak launching a 50-yard bomb to Pickens under the lights in prime time, of Pickens making defenders look foolish with double moves and circus catches, of CeeDee Lamb feasting on one-on-ones while defenses try to account for Pickens' deep speed, of red zone packages with both wideouts drawing attention and Jake Ferguson slipping underneath for easy scores. The imagination runs wild, and rightly so, because when you pair talent with opportunity and hunger with platform, magic can happen. George Pickens didn't choose to be a Cowboy, but now that he is one, you can bet he's going to make the most of it, and if he does, this trade won't just be remembered as the biggest move of the 2025 offseason. It might be remembered as the spark that finally lit the fire under America's team and pushed them back to football's biggest stage. The ball is in his court, the stage is his, and the world is watching.